On this week's episode of Kickin It Wit Killa, we talk to the program director of Kiss 101.7, Mellie Mel. He discusses his journey in the music business, as well as answers a couple questions and gives a couple tips on how to get your music played on a commercial radio station. We also discuss the big question here: does radio stations still have the same effect that it did years ago? We have all that and more, so make sure you pull up your seat, spark that brain, and let's kick it.
We kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. We ain't taking no L's. I don't care how they feel. We kicking
Mellie
it,
Mel,
kicking it.
Mellie Mel, what's going on with you,
What's
man?
going on, Killa? What's up with you? How you been?
I've been good, man. You know, we out here doing different grinds, right? Different
Well,
things going on out here.
congratulations. I see you. Congratulations.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You know, we trying to stay focused, right? So,
Right.
how's everything been with you? I know you got a lot of things going on. I know we got something at Harris Casino and everything like that going on.
Yeah, everything is good. I mean, things with this business and changes every day. So sometimes you got to maneuver around and right now we're at the casino every Friday and Saturday, a great turnout. It's different for me. I never was a full-time resident, so to speak, at a
Right.
casino. And actually, I don't even know if I did like a casino floor in my whole career. So it's different. I'll say that. It's a lot of fun and it's
Right.
very different.
Right. So let's open up this interview, man. I want to do a little game real quick. What we're gonna play is One Has to Go. All right. So I'm gonna name a couple different
Ooh.
artists. It's gonna be three of them, but one has to go. All right.
Okay. All right.
So for our first choice, we're gonna go with Trey Songz, Chris Brown, or Usher. One has to go.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't gonna make it easy for you.
I can't let Usher go. I just
Uh-huh.
can't.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna have to
So
be Trey Songz. He's gonna have to
Trey
go.
Songz. Trey
Yeah.
Songz is out of there.
Yeah, it's got to be Trey Songz.
Right. Like I said, we ain't gonna make it easy. So let's go again. Right? So we either have Alicia Keys, Anderson .Paak, or The Weeknd.
So what's really funny, and people are gonna hate me for this, I've never been a big Alicia Keys fan.
No?
It's so crazy to me because when I say that to people, they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, so she's gonna have to go. That's
Okay.
easy for me. But she's a great artist. Nothing, but I just never. I don't know why. I just never been a fan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
respect that. So this
Yeah.
next one is easy for me. So I'm not gonna say it, but here we go. Your last one, real quick. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Sexy Red.
Sexy gotta go.
Just that easy.
It's easy
Same as
for
me.
me too.
That's the
Yeah.
same thing I'm gonna pick.
Yeah, she's
Sexy
gotta
has
go.
to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't gonna hate on her, but the
Yeah,
off the
nothing
beat.
against her, but yeah, if I don't hear another Sexy Red song, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
cool with
good.
that. We sound like the
For
old
real.
uncles now, though, Killer. You know that, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about your journey real quick, man. Like, as long as I've known you, you've always been in the radio business. How did you get your start? Like, how did all that come across?
So what's really funny, Killer Noise, is I feel like in your journey, it's always going to be one or two or more people that's going to help you. You can be great at what you do or even good at what you do, but if somebody
Right.
don't help you through and see your talent, it's not going to happen. You know
Totally
what I mean?
agree.
And it sucks
Mhm.
because, artists will say, I'm the hottest artist out, whatever. But if the right person don't hear you, it's not going to matter. You know
You're
what
right.
I mean? But so not getting off topic. So for me, it sounds like something simple happened, but it really wasn't. So what happened was I wanted to be an artist back in the day, right?
Okay.
And I said the best way for me to do it is and not knowing as a kid, like 16, 17 is when I got in the radio, right?
Okay.
So being a kid, I didn't understand that this part of the record label is this part. You know what I mean? Like they work the records, but they don't sign the artist. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like,
Right.
if I get on at this station, I'm gonna have full access to every single record company that's working records, which is the truth. but they don't care about you because they're trying to work their own records. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
They're salespeople, so that's not kind of like how it went. So I got in initially because I thought I could be an artist. I'm like, if you know, I'm the same dreams. If all I need is one person to hear me and I'm good, I'm on. I'm gonna sign a $1 billion contract. You know what I mean? So I walked in the station and I just happened to, the first person I see, assistant program director.
Okay.
Right. And they didn't hear me. They didn't see nothing I could do. They asked me all these questions. Do you know what this is? I didn't know what it was. I said, yeah, I know what that is. I can do it right now. I didn't know what it was. They were like, well, what about this? No. You know what a reel to reel is? Of course I know how to spice remember the tapes back in the day?
Yeah.
I'm like, of course I didn't know how to do it. So he said, all right, look, we got this board out position open. I'm going to let you do it. I knew nothing. I was so scared, right? I didn't know how to run no board, right? But luckily, a guy that was working there, he took a liking to me too and was like, I'm going to show you everything. I got you. I'm going to help you. And he did. His name is CC Stevens, right?
Okay.
So he taught me the board. So once I got the board down, he was like, Mel, let me help you put an air check together. For everybody that don't know, an air check is like the holy grail to being on the air. It's like your demo. You know what I mean? Like if you're working a 3-song demo, it's kind of like that. Your best little, air checks. But I had never been on air, so I faked an air check. Is what we call faking it, right? So I faked callers. I got a couple interns around there to be a caller. You know what I mean? And the programmer liked it and put me on one day a week. You know what I mean? And then that one day a week turned into 9, 6 to 10, still in high school, senior year. You couldn't tell me nothing. So, and then, so it started, I started seeing like the back end of stuff. And I was like, I don't know if this artist thing is for me. When I seen people say, hey, you can stop playing this record to play this record like that. And then the artist is like, why did my record go from 1 million spins to no spins in a week? And I'm like,
right.
Your label said stop playing it. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this radio thing out. I like it. It's kind of like a local celebrity. Well, it is a local celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially 90s, early 2000s. It was, you know what I mean? Like it was crazy. So I was like, I'm gonna see where this goes. So that's kind of like how it all started.
So that's a little crazy. I'm go back to something that you said. Like you talked about how, especially in that time, the record labels could come to you and say, hey, I need you to play this song, right? So you're playing that, and then they can hit you up just that quick and be like, all right, listen, we're scratching that one. We need to go with this one instead, type of deal. And you kind of almost have to like, all right, let's jump on to the next joint. And the artist itself has no idea. Like they're kind of just like, man, my thing was like jumping last week. And then now it's like, barely getting its plays, right? So that's just a crazy aspect of looking at how things happen behind the scenes with the whole getting your music or getting their music played as far as the record labels go with the radio stations. Kind of crazy.
Right. So it's kind of, so I tell people it's kind of like this, right? Like it's about having the space for songs. And let's just say, let's keep it simple. Say you only have space for 40 records, right? So if I'm just throwing record companies out there, right? I'm just throwing stuff out, right? So if you walk in a store, right, and as soon as you walk in, you see this new Clorox got this new thing over here sitting, and it's got a spot. You know what I mean? They're paying for that. You know what I mean? If a new move, which like the new whatever, what's the new Adam Sandler movie just came out, right? So right. So and you see that over here, and then you see new clothing over here. They're paying for it. It's space, right? So if Def Jam has 4 positions, and I'm trying to get this record played, but you already got your 4 taken, like you have your 4. All right, well then stop playing this and put this in, and it's like that.
That makes sense.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's about space, like even for, and some of this still applies, by the way. Like radio still kind of works the same way. Now, if you are I'm going to use younger programmer, and when I say younger, it don't have to mean age. It just means get it. You know what I mean? You can be 60 and still understand how the game go.
Yeah.
You can make space. Like say if like, and it's happened to me a lot. Like if they're like, hey, Mel, I really need this record, man. And I'm like, I don't have space. They're like, but Mel, I really, really need it. You can make it. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like you can if you play it smart. Like now, this song was not going to get 40 spins. It's only going to get 39. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it's a math game. It's
Right.
always been a math game. You know?
So that's just interesting in itself. So that pretty much is the aspect of putting songs in rotation, right? So if we're saying that it's that 40 song space, is working it out to be able to get that particular song in rotation of those 40 songs that are being played, essentially.
Right. And then think about this too, like, and this still applies. Like some programmers is like, I got 24 hours a day, I can make it happen. But
Right.
some people, the old way of thinking is I have 12 hours a day. So some programmers like you only got 12 hours, you got to figure it out. But for me, I'm like, no, I got 24. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because some people really don't count the overnight, right? Like
Hmm.
the older school. I don't want to make, when I say older, I don't mean age wise. I mean mentality, right? Like so
Okay.
it's a lot of 56-year-old programmers that like even now when I look, I can tell how they're programming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Remember that era where like a lot of stations would play a song like 150 times a week, and you're like, why are they playing this song every 15 minutes? Remember
Yep.
that era? And it
Hmm.
didn't last long, but it drove everybody up the wall. You know what I
Right.
mean? But they thought it worked because they were testing these records and they thought that's all that people wanted to hear. But
Right.
they found out a year or two later that that wasn't the case. So
Wow.
yeah, so it still applies to the programming
So
game.
so I know with myself, like when I was on there was a period in time on a certain show, I was able to play whatever artist I wanted to play, right?
Mm,
And then after a certain time where you actually where Kiss brought me on and I had my show once a week, then that kind of came to a halt where I wasn't really able to play every song that I wanted to play, right?
mhm.
But I'm assuming that for that mix hour, there is no cuffs on it in a sense, right? Like you can almost they for that mix hour, you can almost like play whatever you want to play in that sense, or are you still looking for like the mixtape or the mix DJs to make sure you still sprinkle in those particular songs that you need?
Right. So it's funny that you say that because there's different types of programmers for that as well. Like for me, I felt like if I let you, I don't want to say let, but if I allow you to be on the station, that means I believe in you and your craft. And
Right.
I don't want to cuff your talents. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's some people that say, hey, look, here's these six songs that you gotta hit, right?
Okay.
Or it could be two songs, or it could be like, hey, look, I need to give it a little boost. It's a math game, you know what I mean? And if I missed on like 4 spins through the week, I might say, hey, Killa, I need you to hit this twice. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
it really depends. It really depends. I,
Hmm.
I was a type of programmer where I didn't like asking other people to do it because I have 24 hours. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if I can't figure it out in 24 hours, something's wrong. If I can't play it at 5
Right.
in the morning right before the Breakfast Club, what's wrong with me? You know what I
Right.
mean?
So you was able to count those extra hours and you were able to work yourself around it. I'm figuring that you probably figured, okay, we got Ant on at this time, right? So he's gonna
Yeah,
play with his ever. So for that hour, I'm not gonna worry about
right.
sprinkling in whatever artist. And then you have whatever, you got Shorty T here, you got Killer Noise here, you got whatever, right? So
Yep.
um so I'm figuring, at that time you already figured out, okay, I know I need to hit these songs. So we just minus those three or whatever, those 5 hours out of the day that is probably not going to get hit in a
Right.
sense,
So
unless it's a big record or a big party record. Because most of the DJ stuff that we're doing on the radio is probably going to be something that's going to keep them going. Every once in a while, you throw in that big slower song, right?
yeah.
But and during the mix hour, usually you're it's like a car rush hour or something like that. That's just kind of keeping them motivated, keeping them going at that time. So typically, if it's a big record that's undeniable, I think we're probably still gonna play it anyways, right? So,
Right.
uh
So you're right. So basically, what I would do, no matter what, is let's just use this the 12 o'clock lunch hour was zero for everybody, was just blank, right?
Right.
No, there was no spins. 3 o'clock bomb for Ant, no spins. Brand 6 o'clock, no spins. If I did, I forget what else. It was 8 o'clock in the weekends and all that. I think you did one too, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it counted as like I already knew that this song was going to get 8 spins with or without you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like without anybody. Like I'm now, if you
Yeah.
played it extra time, cool. You know what I mean?
That's extra. That's a bonus, right?
Yes, a bonus for them, and I'm okay with that. And that's why you got to remember this too. Is I was a type of programmer that I'm gonna do what I can for you because I'm hoping that you're gonna do whatever you can for me. And that's why, if you really think about it, we had a lot of superstars come through that building.
We did, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because if you needed, let's just, T.I. is the first, because T.I. was just inheriting, right? So
Right.
if you needed that T.I. record, I'm like, all right, but when he comes through the market, I need him to come up here for a meet and greet because I really believed in the meet and greets because, you know, people may never had ever get to see their favorite artist, but you had a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I really believed in that. Like, we got to super serve the community. We got to, you know what I mean?
Let's dig a little bit more behind the scenes because you just talked about with T.I. just coming here for a performance, right?
Mhm.
When certain radio stations have their our Kiss Jam, right? Or we have our other stations might have the I don't know, Summer Jam or whatever the case, whatever they have. Behind the scenes, I feel and I don't want to fully expose everything, but do the radio stations pay for the artist to come there? Or do they pay, let's just say, do they pay the full amount for the artist to come and perform at these certain monumental events?
So something like T.I., they're paying full price.
Okay.
What I'm told is there's not there. So you're right. There used to be a quote unquote radio price, right? But I
Hmm.
heard that's no longer
Mm.
because you know we're in a weird place, and I don't know if you want to go this direction yet, and we can hold it off if you want.
Right.
The artists are in a situation where they feel like they don't need the radio like they used to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So back in the day, the record label had more control over the artists, and now they don't have as much control as they used to, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And they're kind of moving around how they want to. And I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? It's,
Right.
you know, it's okay.
Do we feel like the radio station still has that same impact as it did years ago, as far as with the music artist that's out there?
All my radio friends are going to kill me for this.
Mm.
So you know where I'm going, right?
I think I know where you're going.
It does not.
That's I kind of have that same feel. I think depending on where you're at, right? I feel like
Yeah,
when we go to
depending
New
on the
York,
market,
right?
you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Like New York,
So
probably
New York,
still.
they probably
LA,
still have that big
still.
impact. Yeah,
Right.
right, right.
But
So
when
so like
you,
the bigger markets, the Atlanta, the LAs, the you know, the New Yorks, probably even like Miami or something like that. I feel like they possibly still have a big impact on the music artist itself, right? But nowadays, if we're looking at it, nowadays artists don't even really need a record label, right? They
right.
could essentially um, you know, get a team because that's where it starts. They need to get themselves a team because they're not able to do everything. You can't create the music, you can't and be your manager and making sure that you have to have a team regardless, whatever way you
Yeah.
work with it, right? Now you don't used to have to go through the record label in order to get your stuff on Apple Music.
Right.
Now you're able to do that yourself, right?
Yep. And it's all yours. Yep.
So yeah, people might be playing it more, and it's even the same, right? Like mixtape. Like I was a mixtape DJ, right? And
Mhm.
I almost feel like our mixtapes are not able to have the same wave. Like the only way we could do it is if I did a mix on YouTube or something,
Yeah.
and was doing
Because
stuff like
music
that.
is
But
coming too fast, right?
right, music
It's
is just
just
coming too
yeah.
fast. So for me to
Yeah.
do a mixtape and expect or whatever people to kind of come out and get it, it just moves too fast. By the time they get it, they're already moved on to the next song, right? So it's kind of crazy the way the industry has changed just in the last 5 years, probably since COVID. I would say probably it's,
Yeah.
it's it's made a big change even since
COVID
then.
moved it along quicker. You're right.
Right.
But so also think about this too for a second. Like now I feel like this was gonna happen, all this was gonna happen, right?
Hmm.
So if you think back, and I'm not so sure as far as this part of the back end, if you know or not, but like it was a time, and we can use any art, your favorite artist, any artist, Drake, Jay-Z, you can go back to Elvis, any era, right?
Yeah.
Any art, Guns N' Roses, whatever your favorite artist is, whatever type of music you like. It was a time where we worked this one record for you, right?
Right.
You didn't hear nothing else from that artist until it got number one on the radio side, right? Once it got number one, then we came with your second single, right? Then when it went number one, then your album, you remember back in the day when we was kids, they'd be like, why this album get pushed back? Why this album get pushed back? It's because that single didn't reach that number one spot. So if it only got top 10, it was like, nah, we want this Little Kim. I remember this, because remember how Little Kim was like, I pushed my album back, Well, because that Jump Off record didn't go like they thought it was going to go, right? So, but then I forgot what was after. It might have been a record before. How many licks? I might be wrong on the era, right? Or the songs, but it was a song that she released, and I'm not. We can use any artist. I'm just using her, right? So, and it didn't go like it got top 10, but it didn't go number one. So then it was like, all right, let's do another song, and that one went. And then they put the album out, but they put it back like 3 to 4 months because of it.
Because that first song that they picked didn't have the same waves as they used to.
Right. So, and that happens, and that's whoever your favorite artist is, it's the same scenario. You know what I mean?
Right.
When that record goes that's how it used to be. You know what I mean? Now we can just get a first album overnight. You know what I mean? Which is great.
Yeah. Which is good. You get make sure you get the right whatever social media, whatever, and then your album's just doing good, right? So I feel like in that time, did you feel like there was a lot of listening parties? Like, did the record labels value the radio stations enough to be able to be like, okay, listen, we're gonna have, I don't know, a virtual listening party, or we're gonna have a listening party. You're invited to come out to New York and listen to the new album and help us kind of like pick what should be this first single. Like, was there enough of that going on? Now, I remember one time we went to Mary J's listening party, and that was pretty interesting.
Yep.
But was there more of that went on, even before me getting there or anytime?
So you made a great point. So no, I'm gonna say no, but you made a great point, because if the programmers are the ones that are calling the shots at that time, right, in the radio world, right? Why don't you get their opinion? You're right. You made a great point, and see what the single should be. You're right. And no, there wasn't enough of it. There wasn't enough of it.
I feel like that would have helped out a lot. And you could probably end up pushing two singles at once, right? Because what might be the song in Atlanta might not be the song in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, New York might have a different vibe and be like, nah, I like the B cut better than I like this A cut that you're sending out. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they kind of they might have missed the ball on that one. I feel like it probably could still be something that happens, because, although the radio stations might not have the same impact, right? There's still a lot of the radio DJs that are DJing clubs. They're DJing these different parties, right? So that still gets your music, regardless of who you are, right? If you're able to walk into a club or walk into a party and the DJ's playing your joint right there, you're like, all right, you feel like you're on top of the world, right?
Yeah.
And you know that song works. So not only we know that song works, but now people are trying to figure out what song it is. They're starting their streams, which I just had a conversation about streams versus sales, which I'm not a big fan of streams, but they're starting your streams, right? And probably even off of that, you might be able to get the more money from the shows, because I feel like probably the shows are probably the bigger money now than even the streams, because you're getting very minute money in the streams, even less than what you were getting per record sale when you were with a record label back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like when we think about the radio stations, it does have still an importance when we flip at it, but probably not in the same way that it did before.
I think you're right. Like, and taking, which is another story, but taking a localness out of these stations is rough too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you might get one day part that, think about this. Like, if you think about a top 10 market that's got the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee, another, like 3 of the 4 major day parts that are, and I'm talking about, Philadelphia, that's crazy to me. I never thought I'd see the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, it's crazy. which is not helping, by the way. They think it's helping, and maybe it's helping their pockets, maybe, but long term, it can't help.
If you had endless funds, right, and you can go ahead and recreate another radio station, what do you think you might do different now as a comparison to what was done before?
So it's funny because somebody asked me a couple weeks ago. They were like, "What would you do different?" And
Right.
I still say this: Kiss almost had it to a T. Like I
Right.
think, and I'm not just saying this because I was a programmer. Now I think before I became a programmer, I think we were kind of musically, I don't know if you remember this time, we were kind of like all over the place, right?
Right.
Like you could hear like, and nothing against no artist that I'm saying, right? You could hear a Lionel Richie to a Jay-Z to a Lady Gaga back to back to back.
You're right. It was all over the place. Right.
But this is not to toot my horn. All I'm saying is once we picked where we wanted to be, it sounded way better, and we was really breaking music. Like back then, it'd be especially like think about this era, like New York, and this is when people weren't really messing with down south a lot. Remember that Cash Money era? Like we was breaking them. We was really breaking the Cash Money records and the No Limit records. And I'm not saying they had the best music, but what I'm saying is we was really breaking them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
I felt like I had figured out how to play the hits, how to break the records, and how to play the golds. I felt like that. Now some people be like, you're lying, but I felt like, and think about the DJs we had too, like Rated R, Ant, Brand. Think about that.
Right. Right.
And I put them up against the best. I would.
Like Rated R definitely he's like freaking damn Edward Scissorhands over there, right?
Yeah.
Cutting everything up easy. And never mind Brand going on tour with Meek Mills at the time.
Yep.
So that was big for him. And then Ant, any party.
Still.
You could throw Ant in any party still to this day, and he will tear it up, right? He would tear it up.
Yep.
So you're right. Yeah. I mean,
I honestly don't think I would change anything. And then people's like, what about the Breakfast Club? I was way ahead because I was like, I need y'all to go. I knew that we couldn't. So here's the thing. I knew that we couldn't afford a morning show, a 3-man morning show. So picking them up, that was the best bet. And we had nothing against Russ Parr. He's great. But I always wanted to be top 5 in the market. When I took over, I said, look, in 6 months, we're going to be top 5 in everyday part. If they're not, we got to tweak it, or they got to go. Like, this is a business. You know what I mean? So I knew Russ was never going to be top 5 in the market. You know what I mean? I knew Steve Harvey. I knew Tom Joyner. I knew the Wake Up Show, whatever the name is for Power, right? I knew that they was all going to beat Russ Parr. And I love Russ Parr, but I knew they was always going to beat him. So I did what I would have always done, the Breakfast Club. I would have always did that. And we went number 1.
Right.
You know what I mean? So people always say, what about the local morning show? We couldn't financially afford one. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just being honest. Unless we're paying everybody $10 an hour and everybody's homeless. You know what I mean? And then think about the quality you would have got if you paid somebody low. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it would have been different. Yep.
Yeah, it'd have been different. Huh. So I don't think I would change anything. You know what I mean? I felt like I always kept an ear out there on the DJs that was buzzing. Like that was Brand. You know what I mean? R was like early, you know, and R kept an ear too. R brung Ant to the game, you know, or to the table. Okay. You know what I mean? So I felt like we did well. And now it's going to be a DJ that say, that's some bull crap. But in my opinion, I think we did well.
So I also noticed too, right? Just being on the station, like as a DJ, as a personality on the station, I realized that you almost had to kind of switch it up, right? There's different, like, you know, if you look at DJing in clubs, right? There's a way that you DJ in a club, and then there's a way that you DJ in a radio station. Two different styles, right? So I kind of learned that myself, just as being a personality. So when I had my show at first, which, you know, the Bridge to the Streets,
I know I brought a certain type of energy, which was good because essentially in the end, that's when you guys approached me and was like, hey, what do you think about doing this particular show on the station? And I'm like, let's go for it, right?
Mhm.
But being there and getting some pointers from the K Montes and
Mhm.
uh the J Nices and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Getting some pointers from them, it kind of changed up a little bit of my aspect because I was a mixtape DJ, like a
Right.
street mixtape DJ, right?
Yep.
So the certain way I present certain things was in that mixtape DJ style, right?
Mhm.
And then I had to realize, okay, well, yes, I'm a mixtape DJ, but I have to approach it a little bit differently now. I have to have a different personality kind of for the radio station. So the radio station DJ had to kind of switch it up from being a mixtape DJ. There were
Right.
certain things I would do, and I almost thought that was in New York. I'm throwing bombs on things. I was funk flexing it out this thing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
but then I realized I had to change it up a little bit, and I think it did good because you know in the beginning I was finding my own interviews, and I think probably that went well. And obviously, you guys must have saw something where then you were like, you know what? Let's start feeding you some interviews. Here goes this interview. You should probably interview this person, interview that person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
obviously something worked. Something worked out of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Well, the thing for me
So
too, even if you thought I wasn't watching or listening, I was. You know what I
right,
mean? So
right,
I thought you handled yourself very well, and I thought we could give you more. You know what I
right,
mean? So
right.
that's kind of like what happened.
See,
You
there
picked
you
up
go,
you picked the
people.
board up quick. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you gotta be putting on your best behavior, even when you think nobody's watching you. You still
right,
gotta you still gotta come through.
right.
So I want to bring it on to another question. A question for artists out there. Now, I would say you still want to be able to get your music played on a radio station, regardless of what artist you are, right? It's
Yep.
still a different feeling when you're able to turn on the radio and hear your music played, or whatever may be the case. And even on like a series radio, they're probably looking for the same thing. So, what does radio stations in general, radio stations series, whatever. What do they look for in order to get an artist's music played on there? So if an artist came to you and wanted to get their music played, what are you looking for in order for to even consider playing that music?
So before I say that, I think it's already tough for an independent artist, even today, to get it
Hmm.
in rotation, so to speak.
Right.
But you got to build a relationship with that person. Like I think the first thing is that programmer. So let me back up. If you're trying to get in regular rotation, the only person that can do it is the program director, right? If you're
Okay.
trying to get some spins here and there, that's reaching out to a DJ, right? But think
Hmm.
about this: DJs, programmers, they get emails all day long from everybody, and we're not even opening Def Jam emails. So
Right.
think about that. You know what I mean? And I'm just naming Def Jam, but it could be Epic, Universal. We're not opening them. If it
Yeah.
don't come across our desk, if we don't hear a buzz in the street, if we don't look at it. That's how the game has changed too. Like they want
Right.
to see the numbers already. I mean, think about even with the jocks. Think about the jocks that might not be that talented, but they got a big social media following, so now they're on the radio. That's the
Right.
wave too going on right now. You know what I mean? And you could be like, man, this person sounds really bad. You know what I mean? But they got 1 million followers on social media.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that the relationship is key. You know what I mean? If you're trying to get to the
Hmm.
club
Hmm.
DJ, go get them a drink. You know what I mean? It might
Right.
take you 5 drinks. Go get them. Go introduce yourself every week. You know what I mean? If
Right.
you're trying to get that DJ to play your record in the club, do that too. You know what I mean? It depends on what you're looking for. You know what I mean? You got to build a relationship
Yes.
in your
Yep.
market.
Yep.
Start in
Yep.
your market. Start in your market.
Are there other things that you're looking for? Is there certain things like behind the scenes that they need to take care of? So I'll stay off the top, right? Like in the beginning, I wanted a lot of the music that I was in what played, right? But
Mhm.
if from the beginning, there's certain things that need to be done behind the scenes. So
Right.
we got one. Number one is probably, and I think No Limit was able to get away with it, and Wu Tang was able to get away with it. But they probably need to have some good quality sounding music, right?
That's definitely number one. You made a great
Right.
point.
Number one,
Right.
because you could spit fire, right? But then if it just doesn't come across, correctly on the record that you're trying to present, and your vocals are way too loud, and you're like, snare drum is just cracking your ear, and you like, stuff is all over the place. It just sounds
Yeah,
messy. So I would say probably the first step is to make sure that you have good quality sounding music. Number one,
yeah,
right?
yep,
Now, what would you say like the second step? What is like? Do you think like BDS and the normal stuff? Obviously, have your stuff copyright and blah blah blah, right? But do you think
yeah.
BDS still holds the same weight as it did before?
So BDS doesn't, it's media based now.
Okay.
And if you're trying to go the radio route, yes, you should, and it's free, by the way. It takes like less than 24 hours to get it done. Just go on mediabase.com and it's going to have a little link, and
Mm-hmm.
you give me your information and it's done. Right. But then that means you got to send them a clean edit of your song.
Mm.
Right. So don't forget
Clean
to have
edits.
a clean edit, clean of your song.
Right. Right.
Don't send them a
You'd
dirty
be surprised so
version.
many times when I
I
had
know.
the Bridge to the street show, people would send me their music and not radio
Can you
edit it,
clean it
right?
for
And
me?
it
Can
just
you
be,
clean it? Right? They'll be
yeah,
like, can you
can
clean
I
it?
clean it for you? So you want me to play the music and make
And
sure the radio
clean it.
edit for you?
Yeah.
Like, come
I
on,
might as well
dog.
get the publishing, right?
Right.
Oh, I wrote the song. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so we need to make sure we got you said media base now?
Yeah, MediaBase is it. And it's
Okay.
mediabase.com. There'll be a link. I think it's at the bottom that it takes. And I'm telling you, they're pretty quick. Like less than
Right.
24 hours, it'll be back. And it's free. Don't let nobody try
And
to say it. Don't let nobody try to charge you and be like, I'll do it for $500. Don't fall for the scams either, guys. I see y'all falling for them scams. Don't do it.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. So explain to them what exactly media base does.
So MediaBase detects when and who is playing your song. Like right
Right.
now, I can go on there and see what any station that's on the panel, which is like, I think it's 80 some stations in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can tell what Hot 97 played every record yesterday, right now, if I want. I didn't have to hear them. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like the holy grail of radio.
So
And that's a
essentially it's
start.
a library of everything that's been played.
Right. And it's a start. Are you going to get a million spins? Probably not. You know what I mean? But are you going to get a couple? Maybe. You know what I mean?
Right, right. So you get that media base, you got the good edit. We're working this good relationship with them and whatnot. Do you feel like certain media packages still make an
Yes.
effect, right?
I think
Like
so.
just the presentation of what you're giving them.
Yes. Yep. And hand
And,
it to them. Go hand
right.
it to them. Go there and let them see your face. I know
Mhm.
people that used to bring me White Castle. They used to take me to Joe's Crab Shack. I ain't saying do that,
Right.
but I'm saying what you feel you should do. You know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
build that
Mm-hmm.
relationship, to get that time with that programmer or the DJ or whatever. Do what you feel like you need to do.
That's good.
Within reason, by the way. Within reason.
Yeah. Make sure we put that out there. Within
Yeah,
reason.
we got it within reason. There's a lot going on right now. Don't do that. Or I mean, unless you want to, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So that's definitely good stuff, man. So anything else coming up for you anytime soon?
Right now, man, I'm just so focused on the casino and giving them 150,000%. Like I said, we're doing Friday and Saturday there right now. I'm trying to get a couple more days. What I'm really trying to create now is like I never really picked up the DJ. I didn't like carrying crates, right? So I was like, I don't want to do this DJing thing, right? But now it's different though. Like I got a controller now. I'm learning. You know what I mean? I know a little bit. You know what I mean? I got all the files. I said, all right, give me your files. I got R's, I got ants, I got everybody's files.
You got it.
But yeah, so that's the plan. Maybe do a couple shows here and there at the casino. You know what I mean? I just really want to concentrate. Like I think they're really a great group of people, and I want to help them as much as I can. You know, and we've done some stuff already. Rest in peace. We had Fat Man Scoop there. Red Alert, DJ Cool. We did some DJ stuff. I want to get into some R&B shows. So yeah, hopefully this year in the 2026 we get a lot going on. That's really my main focus.
What's the crowd there? What's the crowd there like?
the
for
crowd
what you're doing.
is I'm telling you, like it's really diverse. Like
Mhm.
it can be anything, which I like. Like you never know what you're gonna get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like last night they were just going crazy about line dancing all night. But the night before they said we hate line dancing. You know what I mean? So
Right.
which is good. You got to be able to switch it up on like that, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
Oh man. Hey, you dropped a lot of knowledge on him today, man. I'm definitely gonna have to get you back up on the show sometime soon, man. I appreciate you coming on here.
I appreciate it, Killer. Congratulations on everything, man. I see what you're doing.
Hey, you try and get it done, you know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Of course, you were just locked into Kicking It With Killa. We spoke with Mellie Mel. He gave us a lot of gems on this one. There's gonna have to be a part two. But I want you to always remember, no matter what season you're in, whether it's the fallback, the get back, or the comeback, remember you're special. You have purpose. So get up, get out there and get it.